painting and decorating. So it's Tuesday today. I'll show you where I'm up to. If you've been watching the previous video, you've got a good idea. This next video I'm going to do, I'll bring it up to the level where all the filling's kind of done, and I'll show you putting some of the, I'll do a video on putting the coving up, and then I'll possibly do a video, well, I will do a video on hanging the insulation paper. So this video is basically just going to be steps of what I'm actually going to be doing till that stage. So let's have a quick look round. Today's job is generally getting it cleaned up again, and as I mean cleaning all that floor out there, and then I'm going to fix the floor first of all to make it safe to work in the actual room. I've got a floorboard over there and all that to sort out. Then I'm going to cover the window up with some plastic, PVA, all the bare brick and things like that, diluted PVA. Once I've done that, I'm going to use some foam to fill in the largest gaps around, and that goes for around the window as well in places, as you can see. I'm going to foam a lot of this up. Some of the gaps as well on the side of that plasterboard. Let's have a look at that. That's safe, isn't it? Anyway, so then once I've done that, I've obviously then got to infill with some plasterboard to bring everything up to the correct level. Then I'm going to seal the brick, because I don't think that is quite a good cavity on this at all. Looking up there before, it's very thin, the cavity. So I'm going to seal all that brick with some bitumen paint, and then when that goes off, I'm going to build a framework and then fit some insulation board onto that, and then we'll be ready to put the coving up. So then obviously I'll put the coving up, fit the skirting board, and we're ready to paint. Right, so I've cleaned the floor up for the time being, best I can, and I've fixed the floorboard over there. And what I did is I took one up from there and replaced that one, and then I've checked them all over and they're all nice and secure now. I'm leaving that for the time being so I can crack on and get all the filling done now and get some insulation board in some of them gaps. I can concentrate on the bottom half when the top half is drying. Like keep the kettle boiling. Some of the insulation, that's for above the window before I put the plasterboard on. So, right, so I'm about to start doing some foaming and putting the insulation board up around the window. So, day 3, and I did really well yesterday. Like I say, fixed the floorboards so it's more safe, and for the time being I've put some boards down at the other end because I've got to work there first of all, but it's about drying time on things, so down there it doesn't matter too much. I can fix that while my covin's drying and stuff like that. It's more important to just crack on. So I'll give you a quick look round. I managed to do all the foam around the top gap. You see that? And I've done all the foam around the window and put the insulation in, as you saw yesterday. Now I'm going to cut all this back now, nice and flush with the brick. And like I say, this plasterboard now, it's more secure on that corner. I've still got to do it all the way along, but I've secured all that edge up there now. It's been badly fitted. So today, cut all the foam back, dry this wall out with my heater, and then get a coat of bitumen on that. That's going to have 2 coats of bitumen. And then if I've got time, I'm going to be doing bits of my plastering to level out that wall. I've got bits of plasterboard to put on across there, and I'll see how far that gets me today. Doing well, doing well. Right, cutting the foam back. Just try and get it so it's all nice and flush with the brick. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to cut it all nice and flush. Doesn't take long. I'm doing this with the camera in my hand, but you know, you get the idea. So it's all neat. Some of the things I've been using for the filling, I've got the undercoat plaster, and then I've got the pseudo foam. You can use the gap filling foam as well for this. I've got the grip fill. I'm using that to put on the sections of plasterboard across the wall at the top there. I'm going to glue them to the brick, and then along the ceiling where there's bits missing, I'm going to actually screw them to the old ceiling with some drywall screws. Okay, so plasterboard going in. It's going in okay, that. Little bit of foaming in the odd place just to make it more secure. Undercoat plaster, like I say, and then I'll be able to put the coving over that. Right. Just in the process of drying the wall out a bit. The bricks are a little bit damp from when I put the PVA on. And this is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to put a coat of bitumen on it. That's what I'm using. Now the reason I'm doing that is because the cavity is not very large, and there is a chance you might get a little bit of water coming through. So it's really overkill, but it just stops any moisture rotting the wood frame that I'm going to put on. I'm actually going to coat the back side of the wood as well, which is going to be on the wall. Just makes it last longer. Right, I'm going to open that and stir it up. For the first coat, I'm actually going to thin this out so it's, you know, soaks into the brick. Makes it a bit easier to apply, and then the second coat will be just, you know, I won't thin it. One thing, make sure the room's well ventilated and you're wearing a mask. End of day 3. Done really well today. A little bit slower than I thought, but you know, you've got to take your time sometimes just to make sure everything's going right. Right then, I'll see you in the morning. Morning, welcome back. Now, 4th day, and today's job is try and get that wall battened out and the plasterboard on. Now I've just checked over the window, and the window is nice and level. So what I'm doing, I'm using 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. That's the timber I'm going to use. Now I'm going to put a piece up either side of the window, working off the edge of the window. Now I want my plasterboard, let's just have a look, I want the plasterboard edge about there, right? So the plasterboard with the insulation on is just over 1 inch. So working back that way, just over the inch, measure your plasterboard, that's where you want your first batten running. So then when the plasterboard's screwed into that, it's on your perfect level. So one of them on either side. I'm going to need one across the top for a curtain rail, and then one in the centre for where I'm going to split the board. At the bottom I'm also going to need a support for the windowsill, and again split it in the centre there where the boards are going to join, because what I'm going to do is use hopefully a board on that side and a board on that side. I'll see how it goes, measure them up. Finally, that's the stud work on. Sorry about the sun, but if I lift the camera up you won't be able to see it proper. But there you go, nice and secure. Because what I'm going to try and do is split the board in the centre. See how that goes. There you go. Like I say, that's for the windowsill when it comes to doing it. I put double the piece over so the plasterboard has got a nice bit to sit against. But before I do the plasterboard, I'm going to put some insulation in these inside bits as well, because my customers asked if I can just infill them. A little bit of foam around that bit, and then it's ready for its insulation. That's the other stuff. This is what I'm going to put in between the framework. Right, that's it for today. End of day 4. I'm doing really well. Quite pleased with myself. So I've just put a little bit of extra foam in some areas. Just helps secure things, a little bit extra insulation between some of the boards. Right, I'll see you in the morning. Morning, day 5. Now then, doing well. Foam cured overnight, so all I've got to do is cut that back. But before I do that, I'm going to reorganise the room, get rid of some of the rubbish, clean up for fitting the plasterboard. and getting the undercoat plaster on for fitting the cove in tomorrow. Right then, let's crack on. Right then, that's the end of day 5. 4 o'clock, so a bit of an early finish. What I've decided to do with the coving, I'll just give you a quick look over that. I'm going to have to put some edging trim around and bits of filling, and it's never easy, but getting there. It's alright for the first time I've done it. Anyway, right, on with the coving. I've decided I'm not going to do any plastering because I'm going to fill it out with the adhesive for the coving and then fill in where necessary, because technically there's just no point because the coving's going to hide it all anyway. So just build it out with the filler for the coving, the adhesive, let it go off, bit of foam here and there, and then fill it up and that'll be sorted. I will do a video on that, but that's it for this one.